The night was as bright as ink, and the sound was like a knife. The fire in the Tang family compound shook the sky, and the sound of shouting was deafening. Tang Long hid in the corner of the woodshed, holding a short sword with both hands tightly, trembling with his body, staring at the scene outside the door. His heart seemed to be about to explode, and his ears were filled with the cry of the tribe's people before their death. The Tang family is old and young, don't leave anyone. A rough voice came from the hospital, carrying unquestionable coldness. Tang Long knew that this sound was Jihao's subordinate, a killer who was a gangster who was stubborn. Tonight, Jihao took his own team and wiped out the Tang family because he heard that the Tang family had a lost martial arts secret book. Long, run. Don't turn your head. Father's roar was still in his ears, but Tang Long knew that his father had fallen. He bit his teeth tightly, his eyes slipping down with sweat, and he didn't dare to make a sound. Outside the woodshed, the subordinates of the Iron Wolf were being searched, and Tang Long knew that he could not escape. Bang! The woodshed door was kicked open by one foot, and a handsy full of facial flesh walked in. The long knife in his hand dripped with blood, his eyes were as cruel as a wolf. Hey, little bastard, it's hidden very deeply. Hansi grinned and pointed at Tang Long directly at the tip of the knife. Submit the secret book, I'll give you a good time. Tang Long felt nervous, he didn't know any secrets. The Tang family is just a small school, so how can there be such treasures in this tradition? But the other party obviously didn't believe it, so he could only hold the short knife and slam it on. Looking for death? Hansi sneered, and with a flash of sword, Tang Long's shoulder was opened with a bloody mouth, which made him pass by a little while. He stumbled back, knocked over the pile of firewood, and took advantage of the other party's moment of being stunned and rushed out from the side with all his might. Catch him! The roar behind him was thunderous, and Tang Long didn't look back and stumbled into the back mountain. The night was deep and the mountain road was shattered. He didn't know how long he had run, but his feet suddenly became empty and he fell down a cliff. It's over. Tang Long had only this thought in his brain, his voice whispered in his ears, and his mind gradually became blurred. After a long time, Tang Long was awakened by the biting chill. He opened his eyes quietly and found that he was lying on a wet stone floor. Under his body was a turbulent underground river, surrounded by dark rock walls, and there were no sound of water droplets. I am not dead. Tang Long lowered his head and saw that his body was covered in wounds. The knife wound on his shoulder was still hurting, but he was still alive. He slammed and got up, groped around, and tried to find a way out. After walking for a few steps, he suddenly stepped on a hard object under his feet. When he looked down, he saw that it was an ancient stone box with strange patterns on the surface. Tang Long moved his heart, endured the pain and squatted down, and opened the stone box with force. Inside the box was a yellow book and a broken parchment scroll. There are several large characters written on the cover of the book Tiangang style, while the painting on the top of the scroll is full of human body drawings, and dense small characters are marked next to it. Is this a martial arts secret? Tang Long's heartbeat accelerated. Although he didn't understand the value of these things, he just told him that this was absolutely extraordinary. He wanted to look more carefully, and suddenly there was a sound of footsteps outside the cave, and then an old voice started to sound. Boy, who will let you move my husband's things? Tang Long raised his head suddenly and saw an old man with white hair and a gray robe standing far away, his eyes as sharp as a knife, and his aura was imposing. Tang Long took a step back with his mind, held the stone box tightly, and said in a low voice, I have no intention of offending me, I just misled me. The old man snorted, walked closer, and looked at Tang Long up and down. Look at you wearing a wolf, as if you were being chased and killed. Tell me, what's the point? Tang Long gritted his teeth and said bluntly, my name is Tang Long. The Tang family was blood slaughtered by Jihao tonight. I am the only survivor. What secrets are they looking for, but I don't know what that is. Jihao. The old man had a brow, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. That ruthless guy, he is becoming more and more rampant. He turned his head and looked at the stone box in Tang Long's hand. His language was a bit smoother. You can find this thing, but it's considered a pity. My name is Zhang Min, who has lived here for many years. This Tiangang style and the picture are my accidental gains, but no one has inherited it. If you have the intention to take revenge, you might as well call me a teacher. Tang Long was stunned for a moment, and then the light of hope ignited in his eyes. He knelt down with a loud voice and knocked heavily. Master is here, please accept a prayer from your disciple. As long as you can claim the blood feud of the Tang family, I am willing to give everything. Zhang Min clicked a little and helped Tang Long up. Okay, I have ambition. But you can't even beat a little boy from Lian Jihao. If you want to get revenge, you have to survive first. Come, let me go into the cave and I will teach you the basic skills of Tiangang Si. Deep in the cave, Zhang Min sat on her knees. Tang Long stood aside, holding Tiangang's skills in his hand, and was sincere. Zhang Min pointed to the book and said slowly, this Tiangang simplified is an ancient martial arts. Those who practice cultivation can change their destiny and break through the limits of ordinary people. But basic is the most important thing. You should first follow what I said. Your energy is in the dantian and guide your true energy to travel through your limbs and bones. Tang Long clicked his head, closed his eyes and sat down, and followed Zhang Min's guidance to start the air. But as soon as he tried, he felt that his dantian was burned by fire, and his pain was so painful that he burst into cold sweat. It hurts, right? Zhang Min snorted coldly. You have not been able to get through, and it is natural to be painful to exercise your energy. But this Tiangang style is in harmony with the graphic diagram and can help you reshape your foundation. Hold on, and after this connection, you can truly get into the door. Tang Long bit his teeth tightly, endured the pain, and moved over and over again. Every time he felt a warm current in his body, the pain gradually became numb, and the strength seemed to be increasing a little. Master, I feel it. Tang Long suddenly slid his eyes and looked at Zhang Min in surprise. It seems that there is a gas moving inside his body. Zhang Min smiled slightly and said, no, your talent is indeed great. It's only half a minute, and you can touch the real door. It takes at least a few days for ordinary people. Your speed is worthy of heaven. Tang Long heard this and a burst of hope ignited in his heart. He knew that this might be the beginning of his revenge. In the next few moments, Zhang Min taught him a few more basic boxing techniques in Tiangang simplified called Tiangang Pa, and his moves were simple and powerful. Remember, martial arts is not just about strength, but also about the mental method. Zhang Min said in a long-term focus, you have hatred in your heart, this is power, but it may also be a shackle. A martial arts practitioner can only be invincible if his heart is as calm as water. Tang Long pointed his head and clenched his fists even tighter. Master, I understand. But if Xiao doesn't die, I'm not at ease. Zhang Min sighed and said nothing more, but patted Tang Long on the shoulder, cleaning the body. Time will not wait for anyone. After a few days, Tang Long's martial arts suddenly improved with his guidance. Not only did he master the essence of Tiangang Pa, but his true spirit in his body was also stable. He had a lot of energy in his eyes. This day, Tang Long was practicing fist outside the cave when he suddenly heard a rapid sound of footsteps coming from a distance. He felt tight, held the short knife on his waist, and said in a low voice, Master, someone is here. Zhang Min stood at the entrance of the cave, squinted her eyes and looked away, and said in a deep voice, it's Jihao's subordinate. The one with the head is called Heifeng, which is considered a small head. You have just finished your cultivation, and you just need to train him. When Tang Long heard this, he felt a hint of murder in his eyes. Okay, I'm worried that there is no place to exhale. Not long after, the Black Wind appeared in the valley with more than 10 subordinates. He looked around and sneered, the Tang family's little mess, they ran quite far away. I handed over the secret book, don't you die. Tang Long walked out from behind the rock, his short knife flashed with a cold light, and a sneer came out of the corner of his mouth. Want to get a secret book? Get this close to me first. Heifeng was stunned for a moment and laughed immediately. Just like you, a little boy. I haven't seen him for a few days, but my slut is fat. Brothers, go ahead and chop him up. As the voice fell, several subordinates rushed up, and the sword-shaped shadow approached Tang Long. Tang Long took a deep breath, suddenly exerted force under his feet. His body was shaped like a wind, and his short knife in his hand combined with the Tiangang break boxing, he smashed the first enemy away. Bang! The man fell to the ground and spit out a mouthful of blood, filled with shock. Why is this guy so suddenly so bad? Tang Long ignored the other party's surprise and continued to make moves. Each punch was full of energy and could not be beaten. After several rounds, more than 10 subordinates were beaten down by him. His nose was blue and his face was wailing. The black styling face changed and he held a long sword. Good boy, hide it deeply. It seems that you don't know if you don't take action on your own, he said with a sharp knife, and the sword was shining, which was obviously several times stronger than ordinary subordinates. Tang Long's pupils shrank, his side flickered, and at the same time, a Tiangang break hit the Black Shang's chest. Hei Feng hummed, stepped back a few steps, and his face turned blue. What kind of boxing is this? The boxing technique that kills you. Tang Long shouted coldly, took advantage of the pursuit and punching him for a few times, and the black wind finally couldn't stop it. He knelt on his knees and bleeding from the corners of his mouth. She lives. Hei Feng asked for a swearing, but Tang Long only had hatred in his eyes. He stabbed him with a knife and ended with Hei Feng's life. Far away, Zhang Min looked at this scene, slightly pointed, and then sighed again. Boy, the murder is too heavy, and you may be afraid of a demon when you come. Tang Long wiped the blood from the knife and turned to Zhang Min, with a low voice. Master, I can only feel at ease if these people don't keep them. I know I'm not strong yet, but this is just the beginning. Shihao, I will kill him by myself sooner or later. Tang Long pointed his head, held the tight short knife, and his heart was filled with ambition. Defeating the Black Wind is just the first step in the road to revenge. He knew that the real challenge was still behind. This chapter ends. Morning fog covers the valley, and thin sunlight passes through the clouds on the forest path. Tang Long sat on a flat rock with his knees, placed his hands on his knees, closed his eyes and adjusted his breath. His body was moving slowly like a fine flow, and he walked around the whole body along the line recorded in Tiangang Sea. He was covered in sweat, and he felt a sense of perseverance. Nowhere far away, Zhang Min stood under an old pine tree holding a dead branch, her eyes lit up at every detail of Tang Long. A few days ago, they left the cave and came to this mysterious valley to continue to repair their woes. Zhang Min's teaching became more and more harsh, but Tang Long knew that all this was to make him stronger. Concentrate and calm, don't let it be so irritating. Zhang Min suddenly shouted softly, and the dead branches blew lightly, knocking Tang Long on the shoulder. Tang Long hummed a little, but quickly calmed down and adjusted his breathing again. Master, why is this second layer of Tiangang style so difficult? I feel that my true temper always doesn't listen to the swear words. Tang Long opened his eyes quietly, wiped his sweat, and a frustration was in his verbal spirit. Zhang Min hummed and said with a slight voice, difficult? That's where it goes. Tiangang Sea is divided into 9 layers, each layer is several times more difficult than the previous layer. It is already a rare opportunity for you to touch the door of the second layer in half a month. Don't worry, follow the route on the map and cooperate with the Tingna method I taught you, and come slowly. Tang Long clicked his head and looked down at the broken parchment roll in his hand. The human body lines on the picture are complex, and the small words next to it contain various air doors and acupoint functions. According to Zhang Min's guidance, he focused on practicing several key acupoints, especially the Qianhai acupoint and Baihui acupoint, which significantly improved his true energy and control. Try it again. Zhang Min said in a deep voice, this time I focus my true energy on my right palm and try to play the third move of Tiangang break, split mountain. Tang Long took a deep breath, stood up, clamped his right fist tightly, and the true atmosphere in his body quickly gathered in the palm of his palm. He punched out suddenly, and only a bang sound was heard. A half-man-high rock in front of him was shattered, and fragments were filled with dust, swelling up a scattered earth. It's done! Tang Long's eyes flashed with surprise and turned to Zhang Min. "Master, the power of this move is much stronger than the first two moves." Zhang Min clicked his head slightly, but he didn't see much relief. "The power is great, but you are really not stable yet. When you make a move, your 3-point force dissipated. Continue to practice until you have 100% of your strength is concentrated on your fist." Tang Long grinned. Although he was criticized by his master, his determination was ignited in his heart. He knew that Zhang Min's harshness was for his own good. With every extra point of strength, you will be one step closer to revenge. In the next few days, Tang Long almost forgot to eat and cultivated his body. In addition to his internal skills in Tiangang Si, under the guidance of Zhang Min, he practiced the 3 styles of Tiangangpa to make the fire pure and purer. Especially the 3rd type of sheer mountain, which is amazing and can even hit a huge rock that is shattered in one punch. He could feel that he was more than twice as strong as when he was dealing with the black wind. Early this morning, Zhang Min suddenly called Tang Long, who was practicing boxing, and brought a few lingeries with rare words. "Long, your cultivation has achieved some success in the beginning, but it is not enough to just close the door to build a car. The world is a big melting pot. There is no real war, no matter how high your martial arts are. It is empty talk." Tang Long stopped his action, wiped his sweat, and asked in confusion, "Master, what do you mean?" Zhang Min took out a yellow letter from the dead and sent it to Tang Long. "This is a letter left by an old friend in my early years. He mentioned that there was a small door sect called Zafuman in the world. Relying on the power of the ground snake, he bullied and suppressed the random cultivators everywhere and was far away from being famous. You went to pick their field, one to practice the trainer, and the other to call for the name number to attract more traces. It is unsure that you can dig out the whereabouts of Zhihao." Tang Long took the letter and a cold light ignited in his eyes. "Fist door? Okay, I'm worried that there is no place to try the fist. Master, I'll go down the mountain now." Zhang Min snatched his hand. "Don't be anxious. Although the Iron Fist door is a small door school, the door owner is a bit capable. If you go alone, you may be in danger. I have contacted a young man named Lin Howren, who is my old friend's descendant. He has great martial arts skills and is loyal to others. He will join you at the foot of the mountain to help you with your help." Tang Long pointed his head and felt more anticipated. Those who can be praised by their masters will definitely not be simple. He packed his bags, brought a short knife and a secret picture, told Zhang Min away, and went down the mountain alone. The town under the foot of the mountain is extremely popular, and the streets and alleys are filled with discussions between the sellers and the people of the martial arts world. Tang Long walked in the crowd in a coarse cloth dress, looking around for the Lin Howren described by Zhang Min. "Hey, brother, are you Tang Long?" A cheerful voice came from behind. Tang Long turned around and saw a tall young man walking over. He was about 20 years old, carrying a long sword on his back, with a handsome face and a righteous look in his eyes. Tang Long looked him up and down and tried, "Are you Lin Howren?" "Ha, that's right." Lin Howren patted Tang Long's shoulder and grinned. Zhang Laoqian asked someone to send a message saying that a young handsome guy was going down the mountain to practice, so that I could help. As soon as I saw your enthusiasm, I knew that it was right. Let's go and chat. Tang Long was infected by his passionate appearance, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The two of them walked side by side. Lin Howren walked and said, "I heard that you were going to pick the boxing door. I had already wanted to fuck this matter. Those who helped bully others and specialize in robbing the resources of casual cultivators should have someone dealt with them." Tang Long pointed at the head and said in a deep voice, "It's not just for the sake of justice in the world, but I also want to take this opportunity to call for a name and lead to some people. I have a deep hatred in the sea of Asiac blood, so I must find Jihao's whereabouts." Lin Howren heard it, his eyes slammed, and he patted his chest and said, "Good brother, you will report any hatred. This is the rule of the world. I have heard of Zhihao, who is very ambitious and has done everything he has done in the past few years. Don't worry, from now on, I, Lin Howren, is your brother. If I have a bite of it, I will never let you get hungry." Tang Long felt warm in his heart and said, thank you very much. With your words, I have a clear heart. The two hit it off and immediately decided to go straight to the black stone where the iron fist door was. On the way, Lin Howard gave Tang Long a lot of interesting stories and shared some tips on how to play tricks. Tang Long discovered that Lin Howard's martial arts were indeed good, especially the sword technique, which was as fast as flash, and was as beautiful as everyone else's style. Blackstone is located in the northwest of the town, with a steep mountain, and the Iron Fist door is located in a village halfway up the mountain. When Tang Long and Lin Howard came to the mountain, it was already evening. Afar, you could see several guards standing at the entrance of the village, holding a big knife, and breathing. Stop! Who dares to be good at the ground plate of the Iron Fist door? A guard stared at the tip of the knife, pointing directly at Tang Long and the other two. Lin Howard sneered, pulled out the long sword, and swung it casually, and the sword swept over the ground, leaving a deep mark. Go and tell your door owner, saying that Tang Long and Lin Howard came to the hall to kick the hall. Let him clean his neck and wait for death. Shua was trembling with a scare and hurried into the village to report. After a while, the village door was wide open, and a burly middle-aged man walked out, full of flesh on his face and wearing iron fists with both hands. It was the main iron domineering of the Iron Fist's door. Where are the two hairy boys who dare to come to my Iron Fist door to act wild? Zebadian snorted coldly, his eyes swept over Tang Long and Lin Howard, his eyes full of disdain. I don't want to die, I'll slam it. Tang Long took a step forward, his voice coldly, Zebadian, you are bullying the free cultivator and doing everything badly. Today I will be fair. Do you dare to take my 3 punches? Zebadian was stunned for a moment and laughed immediately, ha ha ha, I'll just complain about you? Okay, I want to see. You have a few pounds. Come on, take me a punch. Before the words finished, the Iron Badian suddenly rushed in, and the Iron Fist brought the sound of the hushing sound, smashing Tang Long's face directly. Tang Long did not avoid it, his body was really moving, his right fist was accumulating strength, and he was facing the third form of Tiangang break, splitting the mountain. Bang! The 2 punches collided, and the Iron Badian hummed and was shocked several steps away, and his arms were slightly numb. His face changed and he said in surprise, this kid is so powerful. Tang Long did not stop and took advantage of the pursuit and punched again. The second punch broke out again. Zebadian reluctantly resisted and was beaten backwards. A silk of blood spilled out of the corner of his mouth. The disciples of the Iron Fist door around were stunned. Who would have thought that this boy who was not famous for being a disciple could actually suppress their door? Third fist. Tang Long shouted softly, his true spirit gathered in the fist. This blow was like thunder, and the pupils of the Iron Badian shrank, and finally showed a look of fear. He reluctantly lifted his fist frame and was hit by a punch. He hit the village door, spit out a mouthful of blood, and fainted. Master of the door. The disciple of the Iron Fist door was shocked, and no one dared to step forward. Tang Long watched the whole scene coldly and said in a deep voice, Frost, from today, the Iron Boxing door will be disbanded. If you dare to do evil again, I will take your lives. Lin Howard laughed and pointed at the audience, have you heard it? You still don't want to rush. The disciples of the Iron Fist door dared not say much. They helped the Iron Badian up and dispersed in shame. Tang Long and Lin Howard looked at each other and felt a sense of accomplishment in their hearts. In this battle, not only did I try it, but also called the name, and the news will soon spread throughout the world. However, the two of them had no time to celebrate, and a rapid horse hoof sound suddenly came from afar. Lin Howard bowed and said in a low voice, no, someone has come, he is not weak. Tang Long turned around and saw a man in black riding his horse and rushing straight towards him, holding a long gun in his hand, killing the air. After the man in black got off the horse, he spoke coldly, Tang Long, my master heard that you appeared in this belt and sent my blood gun Wang Lai to take your life. If you hand over the secret book, you may be able to keep all your corpses. Jihao's subordinate? Tang Long's eyes flashed with a cold light and he held a short knife. Good here, I'm just about to find you to make a fortune. Lin Houran also pulled out his long sword, stood on the side of Tang Long, and said in a low voice, "This guy is not simple, has a deep internal strength, at least at the level of a second-rate expert in the martial arts world. We are in the hands of each other, be careful." Wang Lai sneered, shook his gun, and pointed the gun straight at Tang Long. "Two hairy boys, dare to speak wildly? Death." As the voice fell, his figure flashed, and his long gun pricked like a poisonous snake, and his speed was amazing. Tang Long and Lin Houran both flicked their bodies and each made their own moves. Tang Long hit Wang Lai's chest with a cracking mountain, and Lin Houran's sword hit the other party's throat. But Wang Lai experienced the old Taoist, and withdrew two people with a long gun. He forced them to retreat. The subsequent gun was like a violent rain, and the move was fatal. Tang Long avoided several times, but his shoulder was still rubbed by the tip of the gun, leaving a blood mark. "Brother Long, stay up. I'll control him." Lin Houran shouted loudly, and the sword technique was unfolded, turning into a sword shadow, trying to make the attack of Wang Lai. Tang Long took the opportunity to take a few steps back, took a deep breath, and recalled the Tiangangsi mental method taught by Zhang Min. The true atmosphere gathers, condenses into a little. Tang Long closed his eyes for a moment, suddenly opened, and his body rushed towards his right fist. He whispered, "Wang Lai, take my move." I saw that his body burst out and his right fist burst out like thunder. This punch not only contained all the power of Split Mountain, but also disrupted the true explosion of the second level of Tiangangsi, which was several times stronger than before when he was against the iron dominating heaven. Room! The fist collided with the tip of the gun, and Wang Lai's face changed. The long gun was shocked and flew out. He himself was also hit by this huge force and fell heavily to the ground, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. How is that possible? Wang Lai tried to get up, but he could no longer have power to swim. He stared at Tang Long with disbelief in his eyes. "What is your boxing technique?" Tang Long gasped, walked to Wang Lai and said coldly, "This is the absolute teaching taught by my master. You have no qualifications to know. Go back and tell Zhihao that I, Tang Long, will come to the door sooner or later and take his life with you." Wang Lai gritted his teeth and cried, but he was powerless to fight back. He could only be forced back by Lin Houran, and the wolf fled. At the end of the battle, only Tang Long and Lin Houran were left on the black stone. Lin Houran patted Tang Long's shoulder and laughed, "Good brother, this punch. Even Wang Lai, a second-rate master, was beaten down by you. Your martial arts are probably about to be top-notch." Tang Long shook his head and smiled bitterly, "It's too far. I'm exhausted my energy with this punch, and I almost stood up. If you didn't control Wang Lai, I might not be able to win." Lin Houran held his hand, "Don't be ignorant. When the news of this battle is spread, who in the world doesn't know the name of Tang Long? I guess he can't sit still at the side of Zhihao." Tang Long pointed his head, looked away, and his fists tightly clenched. "This is just the beginning. Zhihao sent someone to kill me, indicating that he had noticed me. Brother Houran, the next path will only be even more fierce. You don't say these." Lin Houran interrupted him. His words were calm. "I said, we are brothers. Your hatred is my hatred. From today on, we will join the world together, no matter whether he is Zhihao or who, we will fight one by one." Tang Long looked at Lin Houran's smiling face and felt a warm feeling in his heart. He pointed a little and said in a deep voice, "Okay, brothers are united, and the benefits will be reduced." The night was shining, and the two of them stood shoulder to shoulder, looking at the mountains far away, and their hearts were ignited with greater ambitions. In this battle, they not only won the victory, but also established deep friendship. However, they all knew that Zhihao's revenge would not end there, and a greater storm was being curled. This chapter ends. The news of the Black Stone War swept across the world like a crazy wind, and the names of Tang Long and Lin Houran quickly spread across the country. The Iron Fist door was overthrown by a battle, and Wang Lai, the second-rate master of Zhihao's command, was recreated and fled back. Such a battle was enough to attract any man in the martial arts world. In the winery and tea house, countless people argued that Tang Long was a unique talent, while others said that this age would become a big trouble for Zhihao. Tang Long and Lin Houran did not stay in the Black Stone. After a while, they resumed their journey. They knew that since Zhihao had sent people to kill him, he would never be willing to sit back and wait with him. It would be better to take the initiative to attack, criticize his name, attract more cues, and force Zhihao to appear. Early this morning, the two people came under the Qingyan Mountain in Jiangnan. This place is the Qingyan sect's ground plate. Although it is not as good as the top sect, the masters in the door are like Yun, and the Qingyan sect's master is even more famous for his Qingyan sword technique. In recent years, the Qingyan faction has secretly colluded with Zhihao, becoming one of its minions, bullying the small door faction, plundering resources, and is notorious. Brother Long, this Qingyan sect is not a small character like the iron boxing door. There are at least 3 first-class experts in the door sitting in the town. We must be careful. Lin Houran stood under the foot of the mountain, looking at the Qingyan sect hall halfway up the mountain, carrying a few caution in his language. Tang Long pointed his head a little, held the short knife tightly on his waist, and his eyes were filled with a war. The stronger the enemy, the more he can be tormented me. Brother Houran, if he can defeat the Qingyan sect in today's battle, Zhihao will definitely be even more restless. Lin Houran laughed and patted Tang Long on the shoulder. Okay, with your enthusiasm, we brothers, what obstacles can't get past? Let's go up the mountain. The two of them walked up the mountain road and soon arrived in front of the Qinjianpai mountain gate. 2 disciples at the door saw them and immediately stopped at the way, shouting, "Who is good at Qingyan sect? Report your name quickly." Tang Long took a step forward and said loudly, "I am Tang Long, and this person next to me is Lin Houran." He heard the Qingyan sect's go Zhihao, bullying fellow travelers in the world, and came to justice. "Let your door come out and answer." The 2 disciples spoke, their faces changed, and one of them sneered, "What a big boy. Tang Long? That boy who was playing wild in the Black Stone. Humph, looking for death." He turned around and ran into the mountain gate to report, while the other man stared at Tang Long and the other vigilantly. After a while, a sudden sound of stomping came from the mountain gate. Then more than 10 disciples of the Qingyan sect came out. The leader was a middle-aged man wearing a green robe and a long cold light in his hand. He was extremely energetic. It was the eldest and old Qing Songzi, the eldest of the Qingyan sect. "Tang Long, Lin Houran?" Qing Songzi looked at the 2 of them coldly, and a trace of disdain came out of the corner of her mouth. "2 hairy boys dare to come to my Qingyan sect to act wildly? I'm acquaintance, leave quickly, otherwise don't blame me for being ruthless." Lin Houran pulled out the long sword, shook the tip of the sword, and said loudly, "Qing Songzi, stop talking nonsense. You Qingyan sect and Zhihao Langyan are traitors and are doing bad things. Today, we brothers are coming to destroy you, the gangster. Do you dare to take the battle?" Qing Songzi's face darkened and she shouted angrily, "Arrogant. Come on, take these 2 ignorant guys." As the voice fell, more than 10 disciples rushed up, and their swords were slammed out, attacking Ling Zhang. Tang Long and Lin Houran looked at each other and took action at the same time. Tang Long heard the Tiangang break Sigma break mountain out, and the fist was like thunder, and the 2 disciples in the front instantly shook. Lin Houran's sword technique was like a rain of wind, and the sword shadows were heavy, forcing several disciples to retreat. A little trick to carve a slot. Qing Songzi snorted coldly, and the long sword was unsheathed, and the sword was as bright as a rainbow, piercing Tang Long's chest. His magic tricks were extremely fast, with a sensation of stern killing, and he was obviously at the level of a first-class master. Tang Long did not dare to be careless, and suddenly exerted force under his feet. His body flickered, and his right fist was full of strength, and he punched Qing Songzi's body with a backhand. With a bang, the boxing swords intersected. Qing Songzi felt her arms numb, and the long sword was a little bit distracted. A flash of surprise in his eyes. This kid, his internal strength is so deep. Tang Long took advantage of the pursuit and used several punches, each of which contained the true spirit of Tiangang Si, and directly hit the key points. Qing Songzi reluctantly resisted it, but was forced to step back step by step, making her face more and more difficult to see. On the other hand, Lin Houran used more than one enemy and the sword technique to attack more than 10 disciples. Qing Songzi, if only this is the ability, the Qingyun sect will perish today. Tang Long shouted softly, and his fist became even more fierce. Qing Songzi finally couldn't hold it back and was hit in the chest with a punch. The whole person flew out several feet, fell heavily to the ground, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. Stop! At this moment, an angry shout came from the mountain gate. Then an old man walked out with white hair and a mountain of vigor. It was King Jianzi, the Qingyun sect's master. He saw Qing Songzi falling to the ground again, her face turned green, and her eyes stabbed Tang Long like a knife. Xiao Xia, you're too bullying. I'll meet you today. Tang Long wiped the sweat from his head and gasped, saying, King Jianzi, you're here. I'm just about to teach you the Qingyun sword method. King Jianzi snorted coldly, and the long sword shook. There was a green light flowing on the sword's body, which obviously had a very deep internal force. His figure flashed, and his moves came like a violent wind. Each drama brought a sound of tearing the air, which was extremely powerful. Tang Long kept avoiding him, but he was still injured by the sword's arms, causing blood to flow. He gritted his teeth and recalled the Tiangang skills mental method taught by Zhang Min. He was really crazy and flew in his body. Finally, he grabbed a broken net and punched out with a sudden punch. Tiangang break the mountain. Strange. The boxing style collided with the sword. King Jianzi hummed, stepped back several steps, and his face changed slightly. What a strong boxing technique. Who did you inherit it? Tang Long sneered, the one who wants your life. He fought with Lin Houran, and Lin Houran's sword technique controlled King Jianzi. Tang Long took advantage of the opportunity to approach and repeatedly punched him out, and finally knocked King Jianzi to the ground, unable to hurt him again. Qingyun sect saw the palm of the gate in the north, and the military spirit collapsed and knelt down and begged for the gift. Tang Long watched the whole scene and said in a deep voice, from today on, the Qingyun sect will be disbanded. If you dare to join forces with Zhihao, I will take your lives. As the news came out, the world was shaking, and Tang Long's name became more and more exciting. The battle between the Qingyun sect made countless people realize the horror power of this young rookie, and also made Zhihao's power feel unprecedented threat. In the next few months, Tang Long and Lin Houran worked tirelessly to challenge several factions that were tied with Zhihao, including the Northland Flame Support and the East Sea Mad Sword Gate. Each battle ended with inverted power. Their reputation is at its peak, and even the name of young double heroes has begun to be circulated in the world. There are countless cultivators and small sects who surrender to each other, seeing them as the incarnation of righteousness. However, with the increasing popularity of the famous saying, danger also comes. Zhihao finally couldn't help but ordered to send 3 top masters under his command, Bloodsword Luo Sha, Iron Palm Wild Enemy and Shadow Assassin, to form a team of elite soldiers and vow to fight Tang Long as the net. On this day, Tang Long and Lin Houran came to a deserted valley and were ready to go to the next destination. Suddenly, the air around them became tight and a strong murderous spirit came over. Lin Houran bowed and said in a low voice, Brother Long, be careful, someone is ambushing. Before the words were finished, 3 figures flashed out from the dense forests on both sides of the valley. The man held a long blood-colored sword, covering his face, which was the blood sword Luo Sha. He sneered and opened his mouth, Tang Long, Lin Houran, your good days are over. The Lord has orders, and today they will take your lives. Tang Long looked at the 3 of them and felt the strong aura scattered on the other side, and his heart sank. The strength of these 3 people is far beyond any enemy they have encountered before, especially the blood sword Luo Sha. The internal strength is undetectable, and it is definitely the level of a top master in the world. Brother Houran, this battle is probably the most fierce seen since I cultivated my life. Tang Long said softly, with a raging war in his eyes, but I won't retreat, where are you? Lin Houran laughed and the long sword was out of the sheath, retreat? Nothing. 1 kills 1, 2 kills 1. We brothers can't hold it. Bloodsword Luo Sha snorted coldly, I'm not impressed by the big words. Go ahead, killing you without forgiveness. The Iron Palm Novel and the Shadow Assassin took action at the same time. The Iron Palm Novel's palm was as windy as a mountain, and it was powerful and heavy. Each palm was powered by the power of the open mountain and cracked stones. The Iron Palm Assassin was like a ghost, with a dagger in his hand attacking the key points, and his move was fatal. Lin Howren reluctantly took over the attack of the elbow palm, and was forced to retreat, and the danger was full of circumstance. Tang Long faced the joint attack between the Bloodsword Luo Sha and the Shadow Assassin. The Bloodsword Luo Sha's sword technique was greatly combined, and each sword was shocking. The Shadow Assassin was sneaking around, making him tired of dealing with it. After a few rounds, Tang Long had several wounds on his body, and blood flowed out. Tang Long, die! The blood knife Luo Sha grabbed a broken hole and slashed it with one knife. The knife was as angry as a rainbow, and it took Tang Long's head. Tang Long's pupils shrank, and in a critical moment, he suddenly flashed through his brain, the practice of Tiangong Si can be perfect, and it can change fate by reversing the heavens. The key is to get along with the mind and the atmosphere. He suddenly closed his eyes, his body was in a crazy and violent manner, breaking through a certain shackle in an instant, and his entire human energy stormed. He opened his eyes quietly, his right fist was filled with strength, and he shouted softly, Tiangong breaks Sigma This punch not only contains all the true atmosphere of the third level of Tiangong simplified but also integrates the ultimate explosion limited development gate recorded in the picture plot. It is so powerful that the air is torn apart. The blood knife Luo Zhan's face changed. The long knife collided with the fist. He could only hear a loud bang. He was shocked. The long knife broke into two pieces and vomited blood and fell to the ground. What? The Shadow Assassin was shocked when he saw Sure. The dagger was stabbed out, but was hit in the chest with a punch from Tang Long's backhand and fainted. On the other side, the Iron Palm No. 1 was forced to retreat by Lin Howren's magic. When he saw his two companions, he dared not fight again, and fled. Tang Long gasped, looking at the wolf shark of the Bloodsword Luo Sha, and said coldly, Go back and tell Zhihao, this is just the beginning. Sooner or later, I will come to the door and return to the Tang family's blood debt. Bloodsword Luo Sha gritted his teeth and cut, but he didn't dare to say much, so he ran away with the Shadow Assassin wolf. Lin Howren walked over, patted Tang Long on the shoulder, and said in surprise, Brother Long, you just punched that moment, you are so simple. Is this a new move? Tang Long pointed his head and smiled bitterly, it's not a new move, but he just broke through the third level of Tiangong style at a time and tried hard to use this move. However, it was really exhausted, and I'm afraid I won't be able to use it for a second time in a short period of time. Lin Howren grinned and said, It's been over once. In this battle, all three masters of Zhihao were defeated. The news came out. Who in the world dares to underestimate you? The position of supreme martial arts is no longer far away from you. Tang Long shook his head and looked away, it's too early. Zhihao himself is the biggest obstacle. I must be stronger so that I can decide life and death with him. After the battle, Tang Long and Lin Howren found a secret cave to rest and suffer injuries. A few days later, Zhang Min received the message and came to Tang Long's first sentence, Boy, you're fucking well. You beat Luo Sha to the blood sword and grow faster than I expected. Tang Long saw his master and hurriedly got up and said, Master, if you hadn't taught Tiangong Si, how could I have today? However, I was so exhausted in that battle just now. If the enemy came again, it would be difficult to deal with it. Zhang Min clicked the head, took out the Tiangong style and the picture plot from the beginning, and said in a deep voice, You can break through the third level and show that the foundation has been established. It is time to unveil the ultimate secret of this secret. Tiangong style has 9 levels, and the first 3 levels are just entry points. The real essence lies in the last 6 levels, especially the 9th level, which is called Tiangong style No Evil. It can rebel against the heaven and change fate, and can be called evilous. Tang Long was shocked when he heard this and asked quickly, Master, how strong is this Tiangang Wuyan? Zhang Min's eyes flashed with a gleam. It is so strong that it can break mountains and rivers with one punch and cross the river with one palm. The forefather who created this technique that year once defeated the top 10 top masters with his own strength, which shocked the world for 100 years. However, to cultivate this realm, it requires extremely high understanding and perseverance. It also requires cooperation with the graphic diagram to break through all the acupoints in the body. If you are not careful, you will get into a devil and explode and die. Tang Long clenched his fists tightly and his words were determined. Master, I'm not afraid. In order to revenge and to end the chaos in the world, I'm willing to try it. Zhang Min sighed and said, Okay, with this determination, I will give you a lesson. From today on, I will help you hit the last 6 levels, but you must prepare for your mentality. This process will be 100 times more painful than you think. In the next half-month, Zhang Min took Tang Long to close the refining work, focusing on the last 6 levels of Tiangang Si. Tang Long touched the acupoints according to the pictogram every day, cooperated with the vomiting method, endured the heart-wrenching pain, but never retreated. Zhang Min was on the sidelines to protect the law and point out any points to ensure that he was not obsessed with the evil spirit. Long, remember, true atmosphere cannot be strong, it must be natural and united with the mind in mind. Zhang Min's voice sounded in his ears, and Tang Long bit his teeth and closed his teeth, and his body was really shaking the last few key points like a flood. Finally, late at night, he suddenly opened his eyes, his whole person's atmosphere was storm, and there was a swelling around him. It's done! Zhang Min's eyes flashed with relief. You have broken through the 6th level and reached the Tiangang realm. Although you haven't reached the 9th level, this ability is enough to be proud of a top-notch expert in the world. Tang Long felt the surging true atmosphere in his body and said in surprise, Master, I feel like I have sucked my fetus and changed my bones. This Tiangang transformation realm seems to be able to release the true atmosphere and form a protective atmosphere. Zhang Min pointed, It's good. Protecting the body's energy can withstand most attacks, and it can also enhance the power of your moves. You try the final style of Tiangang break Tian Kong. Tang Long took a deep breath, stood up, accumulating strength with his right fist, and rushed towards a small hill outside the cave. I only heard a loud sound of rolling and the mountain was collapsed, and the gravel fell, shattered and dusty soil in the sky. Lin Howren was stunned by the sight, and after a while he returned to his senses. He clapped his hands and applauded, Brother Long, I'm afraid even Jihao will be jealous of your punch. The position of supreme martial arts is the only one who is the 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 one who is not you. Tang Long shook his head and said in a deep voice, It's not enough. I can feel that Jihao's strength is far beyond the blood sword Luo Sha. If I don't cultivate to the 9th level, I may not be able to defeat him. Zhang Min patted Tang Long's shoulder and said, Boy, hasteness is not enough. The 6th level is already a great success. Next, we will slowly cultivate our minds and will always reach the Tiangang Wuyan. At present, Jihao has sent people to search for you, hearing that he is on his own and is ready to fight you at the martial arts fair. You have to prepare well, this will be the key battle for your revenge. Tang Long pointed his head, and a raging flame ignited in his eyes. Martial arts conference? Okay, Jihao, I'm waiting for you. The blood feud of the Tang family should be considered the general account. Outside the valley, the world of troubles rise again. The martial arts conference is about to be held in Tianli Mountain, Central Plains. This is the highest stage for the supreme position of martial arts. Major sects and top masters gather together. Jihao even spoke to solve Tang Long at the meeting, obtain secrets, and form a world of martial arts. Tang Long and Lin Howren closed their doors and set off on their way to Tianli Mountain with Zhang Min's instructions. Along the way, they heard countless news about the Martial Arts Congress. Some people said that Jihao had been closed for several months and his martial arts was on the next floor. Some people said that Tang Long had defeated Jihao's 3 masters, so he could not defeat him. Brother Long, in this battle, the eyes of the world are on you. Lin Howard said, with a few points of excitement in his temperament, if you can defeat Zhang Jihao, you will be the new generation of martial arts supreme, ending this chaotic world. Tang Long clenched his fists and his eyes were fixed. Brother Howard, I am not for fame and fortune, but for revenge. If Jihao does not die, the souls of the Tang family will not be able to rest in peace. The two of them walked shoulder to shoulder, facing the Yang and heading towards Tianli Mountain. They knew that this battle was not only a battle of revenge, but also a battle to determine the world. Tang Long has gone from the weak boy at the beginning to today step by step, and finally has to face the old enemy and complete the transformation. This chapter ends. Tianji Peak is located on the ridge of Tianji Mountain, with clouds and cold winds like a knife. This is the ultimate battleground for the supreme martial arts war. For thousands of years, countless heroes in the world have fought here, just to find the best in the world. The top of the peak is as flat as a mirror, with cliffs around it, as if it is separated from the world. Only the strongest can stand on it. Today, the Wuling Conference reached its climax. The masters of the major sects, the scattered cultivators of the rivers and lakes, and the world-famous masters gathered in the foot of the Tianli Mountain, and their eyes gathered on the Tianji Peak. They held their breath and were waiting for the life and death battle that was destined to be loaded into the historical record: Tang Long versus Guan Jihao. Under the foot of the mountain, Lin Howard stood in front of the crowd, with a long sword in his hand, his eyes wide toward the top of the peak and his eyebrows were tightly locked. Beside him, Zhang Min was wearing a gray robe, with no expression on his face, but a hint of grief was hidden in his eyes. Master, can Brother Long win? Lin Howard asked in a low voice, with a sense of anxiety in his voice. Jihao closed his arms for several months, saying that his martial arts had reached the realm of transformation. He could break mountains and rivers with one palm flowing from the rivers and lakes, and no one could defeat him. Zhang Min was silent for a moment and said slowly, Jihao is indeed the top master of the world, but Long has the help of Tiangang style and the graphic picture. He has reached the 6th level of Tiangang realm, and his combat power is no longer as good as any first-class master. What's more, he has you and I help him, and the hatred in his heart is his greatest power. In this battle, it is difficult to defeat, but Long will never retreat. Lin Howard pointed a little and held the long sword tightly. If Brother Long is in danger, I will go to the peak to help. Brothers are united, and no one can stop it. Zhang Min glanced at him and said in a deep voice, Howard, remember that today's battle is Long's fate. If it weren't for the ties of life and death, you and I would not interfere. He must solve Jihao by hand in order to truly get out of the shadow of hatred and become the new generation of martial arts supreme. Lin Howard was stunned and immediately pointed, I understand, Master. At the top of the Tianshu Peak, the cold wind was waving. Tang Long was wearing a coarse blue shirt, a short knife on his waist flashed with cold light. He stood in the middle of the peak, his eyes were like torches, and he looked at the black-robed figure walking away from a distance. The man was tall and as strong as a mountain. Every step seemed to step on people's hearts, bringing invisible pressure. He is Jihao, the overlord of the martial arts world, and the enemy who defeated Tang Long Fumin. Tang Long, I didn't expect you to come and die. Jihao stopped, 10 feet away from Tang Long. His voice was as low as thunder, with endless ridicule. I killed your Tang family that year, and left you a life, but I would have a trouble. Today, I will send you to see those dead ghosts. Tang Long's eyes ignited a rage, his fists were tightly clamped, and his bones were clattered. He said coldly, Jihao, you washed the Tang family back then, and today I will ask you to lose blood. This Tianjifeng is your burial place. Jihao laughed loudly, and his laughter shocked the clouds around him. Blood bomb and blood slap? Just beg you, a little boy. These days, you have been very calm in the world, and all the 3 masters under my command were beaten by you. Unfortunately, in front of me, you are just a fool. I may be able to give you a happy ending with the Tiangang style and the picture drawings. Stop talking. Tang Long sniffed softly, his body's true atmosphere moved forward, and his body's energy suddenly expanded, and his atmosphere stormed. Today, either you die or I die. A cold light flashed in Jiao's eyes, and his right hand was raised, and his palm was covered with black air, as if he had gathered the intention of killing him. Okay, since you are looking for death, I will fulfill your wish. Take my black evil palm. Before he finished speaking, he slapped out with a sudden palm, and the black air turned into a huge palm print, stalking Tang Long's chest. Before the palm wind arrived, several deep marks had already cracked on the ground, and you can see the terrifying power of this palm. Tang Long's pupils shrank, and he did not dare to contact them. He exerted force under his feet, and his body was as flashing as the wind. At the same time, his right fist was accumulating force, and he recalled the Tiangang break Sigma Shidi with his backhand. Room! The fist style collided with the palm print, and a huge sound of shocking sound, with 4 stone blocks on the top of the peak, and the dusty soil flying. Tang Long was shook several steps back, and the stone surface under his feet cracked a spider net-like mark, and a silk of blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. It's not bad. It can take my 30% palm. It's hard to kill the blood sword Luo Sha. Jiao sneered, full of disdain, but this is just a hot body. Next, I want you to know what it means to be desperate. Speaking of the slightest, his palms came out, and the black evil palm successively slapped out several palm prints, each of which was stronger than before, blocking all the retreat paths of Tang Long. Tang Long bit his teeth tightly, stretched his energy and stretched out his strength, holding several palms, but he was still shocked and swept his body and blood was sprayed wildly. Brother Long. Lin Howard saw the scene under the foot of the mountain, and was so anxious that he could hold the long sword tightly, wishing he could immediately push the top of the peak. Zhang Min pressed his shoulder and said in a low voice, "Wait a little longer, Long Air has not reached the end yet, he can hold him." At the top of the peak, Tang Long half knelt on the ground, gasping heavily, and his body was covered in scars. He raised his head and looked at Jiao's face, and the scene of the fire in the Tang family courtyard flashing through his brain. The roar of his father before his death seemed to be rising in his ears again. His eyes gradually turned red, and anger and hatred almost swallowed him. Jiao. Tang Long gritted his teeth and stood up slowly. His body was in a terrible way, and his body was in a state of pain. I, Tang Long, will never fall down. I want to be the soul of the Tang family and return to justice. Jiao snorted coldly, diet and thrust. Take my palm again. He rushed over, his palm power as strong as a mountain, and he could not hold it. Tang Long knew that if he resisted hard, he would be dead. He closed his eyes and quickly recalled the ultimate secret of Tiangang Si. Zhang Min once said that the 9th level Tiangang Si is invincible, can reversal the heavens and change fate, but it requires the heart and atmosphere to break through the acupoints of the whole body to reach it. Fight! Tang Long suddenly slid his eyes, and his body was really shaking all the veins like a flood. In conjunction with the magic gate of the veins, he successfully broke through the last few key points. Ji Lai's pain almost fainted, but he bit his teeth tightly and held it. The next moment, his entire human atmosphere stormed, and his energy turned into reality, and there was a thunderous sound of thunder. This is... Jiao's face changed slightly, and he felt an unprecedented sense of pressure. He stopped holding back his hands, and his palm exploded with all his strength, and the black evil palm turned into a huge shadow covering the sky, directly pressing Tang Long. Tang Long sniffed softly, his right fist filled his full air, and there was even a spiral around the fist, forming a small storm. He suddenly punched out, and his voice sounded like thunder, Tiangang break, Tianbing wuxia. This punch not only merged the ultimate power of the 9th level of Tiangang simplified but also contained all his hatred and will. Wherever the fist passed, the ground cracked inch by inch, and the air was torn into a vacuum belt. Jiao's palm shadow collided with the fist, in a huge sound of shocking the earth. The entire Tianxian peak was shaking, and the people under the foot of the mountain were even shocked. How is it possible? Jiao's pupils shrank, and he felt that an unrivaled force was crushed. His black evil palm was torn apart. Then the fist stormed his chest, and his whole person flew out like a storm, slamming heavily on the top of the peak, vomiting blood. Tang Long gasped heavily and half-kneeled on the ground. His body was almost exhausted, but there was a flash of sharp cold light in his eyes. He stood up slowly and walked towards Zhihao step by step, with a low voice. "Zhihao, you killed me and the Tang family that year. Today, I will kill you." Zhihao tried to get up, but found that his whole body had been shaken and his internal strength was lost. His face turned pale and finally showed a look of fear. "Tang Long. You have reached this level. I believe that if I give up my life, I will be willing to hand over all my strength and retreat from this world." "You are so angry?" Tang Long sneered, his eyes unrelenting. "When my elders and young people in the Tang family begged me for a meal back then, did you ever feel so soft? Today, you will die," he said. He slapped out with a sudden palm. His palm was like a knife, and he was so excited that he could win Zhihao's heart. Zhihao cried out and died, and the face of Zhang Yan was finally frozen in reluctance and fear. Under the foot of the mountain, everyone was shocked when the battle at the top of the peak ended. Lin Haoren could no longer hold back and suddenly rushed to the peak of the sky. Zhang Min followed suit. When they arrived at the top of the peak, they only saw Tang Long standing next to Zhihao's body, covered in blood, and radiating an invisible majesty. "Brother Long, you win." Lin Haoren rushed over excitedly, holding Tang Long, who was about to lose his mind, his eyes filled with relief and admiration. "Zhihao is dead, you finally took the blood hatred." Zhang Min walked forward, patted Tang Long's shoulder, and spoke in a rare gentle manner. "Good boy, I didn't disappoint my teacher. You not only defeated Zhihao, but also broke through to the Tiangang Wushao realm. From today on, you will be the supreme martial arts world and the #1 person in the world." Tang Long panted heavily and reluctantly smiled. "Master, Brother Haoren, if you hadn't helped you all the way, how could I have reached today? Although this battle has taken revenge, I have spent as much energy as possible. I may not fight again in a short period of time." Lin Haoren laughed and patted his chest and said, "What are you afraid of? With me here, who dares to come and cause trouble, I will chop him up." Zhang Min pointed at the head and said in a deep voice, "Haoren said it right. Once Zhihao dies, the world of chaos will come to an end. But the position of supreme martial arts is not only a favor, but also a responsibility. Long, once you are on the top, you have to shoulder the burden of reorganizing the world, so that this land will no longer have blood and conflicts." Tang Long pointed his head a little, looking at the vast rivers and mountains under the Tianhuang Peak, and an unprecedented sense of responsibility arose in his heart. He said softly, "Master, I understand. From today on, I will end this world in the name of the supreme martial arts, establish a new order, and let the world be free from pressure and killing." A few days later, the Wulin conference officially ended, and the news that Tang Long defeated Zhao Zhihao and became the supreme martial arts world. All major sects went to Tianji Mountain to worship and swear allegiance. The forces of the past who had been linked with Zhihao also took the initiative to surrender and were willing to accept the punishment. Tang Long did not kill as much as possible, but instead accepted the crowd with a broad heart. At the same time, he also established a new rule: people in the world will not be killed without reason. If friends in the sects are martial arts, those who are vicious will be severely punished. In the main hall of Tianli Mountain, Tang Long wore a supreme golden robe and sat on the main seat, with his majesty and dignity. Lin Haoren stood on his side, served as deputy leader, and was responsible for coordinating the affairs of major parties. Zhang Min chose to retreat, and only came out as an elder and gave him a point of guidance. "Brother Long, in the past few days, the gifts sent by each have piled up in mountains." Lin Haoren smiled and pointed to the piles of boxes outside the hall. His temperament was relaxed. "There are still many people who want to worship you as a teacher. What do you think of Tiangang style?" Tang Long smiled and said, "Tiangang skills are an ultimate martial arts and cannot be easily conveyed. When I sort out the pictures and techniques, I will choose a few young people with both talent and character to teach them, but they will never be allowed to be used for personal gain. As for the celebration, leave some useful things, and they will be distributed to the hard-working wandering cultivators." there should not be only strong people in the world, but there should be warmth. Lin Howard looked a little, his eyes filled with glands. I am worthy of being the supreme martial arts world. No one can compare with this breast. By the way, Zhang Laoqian said he was going back to the mountain to close, and he left a letter to you before leaving. Tang Long took the letter and opened it. He saw several powerful words written on it. Long, I can accept you as a disciple in this life, which is enough to comfort my life. Since the supreme position of martial arts world is already yours, I hope you will not forget your original intention and maintain peace in the world. I am old and I only want to live in the mountains and forests. If there is something important, I can come to Qingyun Mountain to take care of me. Take care. After reading the letter, Tang Long's eyes were slightly damp. He carefully put his letter away and said in a low voice, I will always remember my kindness. Brother Howren, when the order of the rivers and lakes is stable, I will go to Qingyun Mountain to visit him. Lin Howren pointed at the head and immediately grinned. Okay, I will accompany you at that time. We brothers, we will never part with you. Time flies. 3 years have passed. Under the leadership of Tang Long, the world finally bid farewell to the world. All major sects live in harmony, and casual cultivators can live in peace and prosperity. The name of the supreme martial arts world has become a symbol of peace. Tianli Mountain has become a sacred place in the world. Every year, countless young people come to worship, hoping to see the charm of Tang dragons. On this day, Tang Long stood at the top of Tianji Peak, looking at the clouds far away, and his heart was filled with mixed feelings. 3 years ago, he was still a young man full of hatred, and he was not willing to take everything for revenge. Now, he has become a priest, shouldering the fate of the entire world. This growth made him both relieved and moved. Brother Long, what are you thinking? Lin Howren walked up, holding a pot of wine in his hand, and smilingly said, Come on, have a drink with you brothers. This is the Qinyan Huadiao I specially brought back from Jiangnan, it is very fragrant. Tang Long picked up the wine pot, drank lightly, and smiled and said, Brother Howren, in these 3 years, you will be the one who helps me manage the affairs of the world. Otherwise, how could I achieve today? I will toast you with this glass of wine. Lin Howren laughed and took a sip. Don't say these strange words. We are brothers, why would you say thank you? Besides, I'm worth it to follow you, the supreme martial arts world, and I'm worth it. The two of them smiled at each other, drank with cups and drank, and there was a warm feeling in the cold wind. Tang Long looked far away and said in a low voice, Brother Howren, the world is peaceful, and I have fulfilled my wishes. Next, I want to walk more and see such a great country, and I will find some lost martial arts and inherit it. What about you, what are your plans? Lin Howren slapped his head and grinned, of course I am going with you. This world is so big, and there are still many places I haven't been to. When I'm tired of walking one day, should we find a beautiful place with beautiful mountains and rivers, and live in a vegetation, and fish, are we not happy? Tang Long heard it, felt aroused in his heart, and said, Okay, that's it. After everything is settled, we brothers will do the world together. As the sun sets, a layer of golden sluice is dyed on the top of Tianzong Peak, and the figures of the two stand firm in the wind, as if they have become the most beautiful scenery in this world. And the world far away also ushered in a truly peaceful and prosperous era under their protection. Tang Long, from a revenge boy, grew up to a priest. His legend will forever be passed on to this land, inspiring countless people in later generations to pursue the truth of martial arts and righteousness.